What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another Marvel Future Fight video. Alright, so in this video here, we're going to be taking a look at Starlord against Knull. So I've been looking for characters that I don't have CTPs of Rage on or CTPs of Energy on, and seeing if they can actually stand a chance against Knull, because as of right now, only my characters with CTPs of Rage are doing well enough against Knull that I can kind of use them consistently. So Starlord here was one of those where I was just using him as a leadership, and then when I had to do like an emergency switch, so I switched to him, and then I was using him for a little bit. I found his damage to be really good, so he's like, you know what, let's see if Starlord can actually take down Knull on his own as my main DPS. So that's what we're doing today. So let's go ahead and take a look at my build on Starlord here, and then we'll hop into the gameplay. So he still has no Urus on him. I haven't leveled up any of his gears to 25 because this is how they give you Starlord after completing the epic quest. His skills here, I only have his third skill and his fifth skill leveled up. Actually, I don't even have the fourth skill leveled up, which is one of the skills that I've been using to proc on to get my damage. Maybe I could have leveled that up and made my life a little easier, because a clear was very close. You have to be very precise with how you play Starlord, well, how you play him if you have him built similarly to me in terms of his attack stats, his crit damage, his crit rate, and that kind of stuff. So if you have that similar build to me, you have to kind of time out your attacks very carefully against Knull, because this is definitely wasn't a one shot. Like, I didn't just sit down to record, load up Starlord, go in there and beat Knull. No. This took a lot of attempts. So I do want to let you guys know that just because you can see Starlord being Knull here doesn't mean it was easy to do. I had to get good RNG. I had to be really good with my timing and having my tier 3 available at the times that I needed it to be available. So yeah, there was quite a bit that went into actually getting this clear. So for me in particular, this is not going to be a clear that I'll do like every day, because it took a while to get this clear. But anyway, let's continue looking at the build here. We have Overdrive as the ISO 8 set is just a stage 6. And then over here, boom, the custom gear is a CTP of Destruction. So yes, I know I said I was looking for characters that can beat him without a CTP, but the CTP of Destruction has basically the same stats as a regular Obelisk. So you can get a crit damage, guard break immunity, damage proc Obelisk. The only thing different here is he has this penetration on it, which will not give you any extra benefit against Knull. So that's pretty much null and void. So you can get an Obelisk with these exact same stats that you see here. So in that sense, this is a kind of free-to-play friendly version of Starlord that can actually do well against Knull. And then we have his uniform at Legendary, and yes, you will need this uniform. You definitely need him at tier 3. You can't just pop in there with a level 70. His tier 3 is going to be doing like, I don't know, 85% of the damage. So you definitely need that tier 3. And yeah, let's take a look at the details here. So here's the details. I believe he gets a massive crit rate buff, so I don't think that 36% is going to be representative. His attack speed is quite low, but I believe he buffs both of those with what skill was it? Didn't he buff it? Maybe he didn't buff it. Okay, maybe I could yeah, I could make my Starlord actually a lot better here by increasing his crit rates. Yeah, if he had a higher crit rate, this would actually be a lot easier. So yeah, I guess I thought he had a self buff for some reason, but I don't see it. He's got some of his passive here, but that's going to be going into it. Oh yeah, that's guaranteed crit. Okay, so he has 30% guaranteed crit rate. But yeah, so I definitely have a lot more room for improvement on my Starlord than I initially thought, because for some reason I thought he was getting an attack speed buff and a crit rate buff, but he's not. So I could definitely pump up those stats. And what was my skill cooldown? I thought that was max. Okay, so there's a few things I can do with Starlord. But anyway, this is the build for Starlord that I did the fight with. So let's go ahead and hop into the gameplay and see how I was able to get Starlord to beat Knull. Alright, so here we are loading into the fight. We have Starlord's own leadership, and then we have Mystique for support there. Thor just has a team up. I believe that gets us, what, 5% more energy attack. Yeah, we're already snared. So that's one thing that I've been really hating about stage 1 here of Knull is the dang blade twisters. Oh yeah, there we go, hopping into that tier 3. that is the damage that we like to see. So Starlord's tier 3 hits extremely hard, so that's where most of your damage is going to be coming from, is the tier 3 skill. He does okay with his other 5-4 combo, as you can see here. Gets about, what is that, like 2 bars, I think, worth of damage that looked like. So definitely still a good, you know, amount of damage there, and it'll be adding up at the end of the fight. But the tier 3 is where you're getting all the damage, because I mean, look at those bars just melt. Tier 3 is so nice, and it's an iframe as well, which is very, very valuable against Knull. And right here, I'm just basically spamming skills. I don't care that I get snared. I'm building up that tier 3 as much as possible. That's basically the name of the game here, is just keep building up Starlord's tier 3. So I do my regular 5-4. I always try to still proc on that. But then when I see that I'm close to the tier 3, like I was right there, I think I might have actually missed that damage proc, but I do instant cancel 4 and then instant cancel 5 into the tier 3 if I think that'll get me enough to actually fill the tier 3. So there are a few times that I do that. But for Starlord here, as long as you land the tier 3 with your damage proc, you're good to go. I mean, that's basically going to be enough damage to take down Knull. It was actually still very... Was it very close? I think I still had some time to spare. So yeah, Starlord's doing really good here. So far, nothing too much to worry about. We've got anti-venom there for the healing. As you can see, we're above the 3-minute mark, which is where I think you really need to be, is 3 minutes or better at this phase change right here, or else you're just not going to have enough damage to beat him in time. So right there was almost an example. Actually, was it an example? Yeah, we're not doing a ton of damage. So right there is an example of some of the RNG that I was talking about. So the 5th skill, even if you instant cancel it, it has that really, really fast, like, kind of shot from the ship that comes down and hits the ground, like, right when you tap the skill. And sometimes that can actually trigger your proc, even though it's literally like 1 hit, I think. I believe it only counts as 1 hit. And I have that activate my damage proc so many times. So... yeah, that see that beam just kind of go down, that leaves that red line on the ground right there. I have that trigger my damage proc so many times. If that triggers my damage proc, then I'm pretty much out of luck, because then I do like half the damage, even less than half the damage that I would normally do with my tier 3 skill when I have that damage proc. So that's something that was messing up quite a few of my runs when I was trying to clear this with Starlord. And then other times I was just playing too aggressive and getting killed. So I just need to find the balance right there. And that was back when I was getting kind of slower runs. But after, I guess, I started optimizing my skill rotation a little bit more, or just spamming the skills more to get to tier 3, I started having more time to play with. So I could have played a lot slower and safer, and still I think got the clear with Starlord. So I think I had some more leeway than I was really thinking that I had. So it could have been an easier or less stressful clear for me than it ended up being. But yeah, as you can see, we're doing massive damage, because he's already... oh, he is doing the phase change at 13 bars. I thought he did that at 12 bars. Right there, I was just trying to get a little bit more damage in if I could. I just switched to Thor because I wasn't going to get out of there in time. Just trying to, you know, get every little bit of damage that you can get where you can get it. But yeah, we're well above pace here, because like I said, when he gets onto the dragon, as long as you have a minute left, you should be good. We're still above a minute here when we're about to get another phase change. So I did use the tier 3 to get the phase change here, so that was kind of worrisome to me, because the last bit here, the last 7 bars, if you don't have, or for Starlord at least, if you don't have your tier 3, you're not going to do enough damage. So as you can see here, I'm just spamming skills as much as I can to get my tier 3 built up. But then I took too much damage, so I can't go back in there and do any more. So I'm like, all right, I just got to hang back. Let's let Thor do his thing here. And one thing that I really appreciate is when Thor does that slam with the hammer, it gets rid of all the blade twisters. That I do appreciate. Thank you so much for that one little quality of life thing there. So we've got our tier 3. I'm just waiting for that 5th skill, and then we're just going to go to town and hope the tier 3 does 6 bars worth of damage, which, as you saw with the damage he was doing earlier, it shouldn't. Oh, it is a problem. Spam skills. Yeah, so we just had to spam some skills at the end there, but we had 36 seconds left, so I could have played a lot slower and avoided the attacks a little more carefully during the initial fight there when I was building up to the final stage. So yeah, Starlord is a really good option. I mean, he's got his own self-buffing leadership, so he's self-sufficient in that case. And then I did use Mystique here, so I ended up using a support. I'm not sure that he'd be able to do that without Mystique, because 36 seconds left. She does 45% or 40% increase to supervillains. Yeah, I don't see that ground being made up without Mystique, so unless I equip him with a CTP of Rage, I'm going to need Mystique there. But anyway, Starlord, another solid option here against Knull if you're looking for another character that can take on Knull without a CTP of Rage. It is kind of close and you have to play pretty aggressive, but it's not to the same level that I showed off with Beta Ray Bill, where I was trying to maximize every little second that I could. So yeah, Starlord, fun clear. You are going to need your anti-venom again, which is kind of sad to kind of sustain the healing that's needed. So I need to maybe find a damage proc friendly character with healing that can do this, so you don't have to use anti-venom as a striker. But anyway, these are a few of the clears I was able to get with Knull. I'm going to be playing around with a few other characters. I have two characters that can do decent damage, but I can't seem to ever get the clear with them, so I keep running out of time towards like the end or getting to the last phase and running out of time when he's doing it, when I'm waiting for Thor to kind of slam down the hammer. So let me know if you still want to see me show off those characters, even though I can't technically get the clear, but they do get pretty close. So if you have a better build than me, then you'd probably have some success. But anyway, just let me know if you would want to see characters that I just get close with but can't actually clear with. So yeah, that'll be it for this video here. Hopefully you enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.